March 11th, 2020 is a day that I'll never forget. I remember I was sitting in English class, itching to escape as soon as the final bell rang when my teacher said there will be no school for the rest of the week. As you can imagine, I was thrilled. 4 days off in the middle of a grueling year of 5th grade was exactly what I needed. I fully expected to return to school the following Monday. But then, Monday came. And then another Monday. And another. At this point, I started to grow a bit concerned. When I'd heard about COVID-19 in school, I thought it was just a silly rumor. The idea of school being canceled for months on end seemed outlandish and ridiculous. But it happened anyway. Not only did my school shut down, but my entire world. Basketball, canceled. My team had made the semifinals. We never touched the court again. The trombone I once played in a loud, joyful band, now just background noise at home. Masks became the new normal. Parks emptied. They even removed the rims from my local basketball court. I know because I checked. Fear, loneliness, and uncertainty crept in. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just my team, my school, or my neighborhood. COVID-19 was changing everything. On top of my own personal struggles, the world outside wasn't looking too great either. Hundreds of thousands had already died from COVID. One day, I was at home, watching the news when I saw a story coming out of a faraway country in Africa. The story talked about how food was very scarce in parts of that country. So scarce, in fact, that locals were physically fighting over bags of rice. That hit me hard. Sure, my world had gotten smaller, being almost fully confined to my house. But at the end of the day, I still had food on my plate. A quick Google search showed me the problem wasn't just far away in Africa. It was here, in America as well. During that time, nearly a quarter of American citizens were struggling to put food on their tables, as well as millions of others across the world. When I realized this, I knew I had to do something. Even though I was just 10 years old and there didn't seem to be much I could do to battle the issue, I couldn't look away. This was my turning point. During that pivotal time in history, I learned an important lesson. What breaks your heart can also reveal your purpose. Ever since I was young, really young, I've been a storyteller. My favorite thing to do as a kid was find an empty notebook and endlessly write. When I ran out of space, I'd find another notebook elsewhere and keep going. As I continued to grow, so did my passion. And after I got my first laptop in the summer of 2020, my writing finally found its way online. After some brainstorming, I discovered the perfect plot. A story of a boy who was an underdog, the runt of the pack, discovering a basketball jersey that makes him great, the best, in fact. This simple piece of clothing instills self-worth and confidence where there previously was none. And when he discovers that his skills linger, even after he loses this special jersey, the confidence grows. Not in a shirt, but in himself. This story was good. Too good. I knew I had to share it. So I asked my mom about publishing my first book. The first step was hiring an editor. I remember meeting him for the first time and going over my work together. He had a lot to say. As he read through my book, there were countless bits and pieces I was told to edit or scrap altogether. After some time, it started to annoy me. It was true. I wanted my work to be better, but it felt like everything about my book was changing. But one of the biggest things I learned from the publishing process was humility. When my editor was editing my work, my pride was insulted because I saw it as him denying my prowess as a writer. After all, if I was actually good at this, he wouldn't be suggesting so many changes, right? In an effort to cope, I chalked it up to him just being unfamiliar with my writing style. After all, it was my story. What did he know? As it turned out, a lot. Humility unlocks excellence. You don't grow by defending a rough draft. You grow by rewriting it again and again. Only after I put my pride to the side and embraced his feedback was I able to improve as a writer. After months of writing and editing, there came another day I would never forget. March 18th, 2021. My parents called me into the living room, saying they had a surprise. My mind raced with anticipation, trying to imagine what could be waiting for me. A few seconds later, I was holding a copy of my own book in my hands. 372 days after my world shut down, I became a published author. Now, thank you. You're probably wondering, how does this long, winding journey tie back to helping others? Well, as I was finishing the process of publishing my book, I decided that instead of keeping the proceeds to myself, I would donate them to help those in need. As book orders continued to pour in from friends, family, and others, the donation total reached and exceeded the equivalent of 1,000 meals for those battling hunger. This led to the biggest lesson of all. Use what you love to help others. I love to write. Over the years, I've written countless manuscripts, essays, and short stories. But during the pandemic, when so many were struggling to stay afloat, survive even, I realized that if no one was benefiting from my gift, I was wasting it. Granted, world hunger is still a massive issue, with nearly 900 million people worldwide suffering from it. But I still take pride in the fact that my actions resulted in over 1,000 people getting a warm meal to eat. My story, born out of boredom and childhood dreams, ended up feeding families. Now, 2,069 days after that afternoon in English class, our world looks very different. But this key lesson still remains. Our passions aren't just for us. They're a tool, a spark for healing, impact, and hope. So, whatever your journey may be, whether it's writing, coding, cooking, singing, wear it, strengthen it, and most importantly, use it to impact others. Thank you.